Hi there, my name is Nina Goradia. I'm a somatic experiencing practitioner. Today I want to talk with you more about adrenal health and the fight or flight response of the nervous system. So for many people who have gone through chronic trauma, the adrenal glands have been firing repeatedly for years, and they can become depleted. And so then they began experiencing adrenal fatigue symptoms. This would include fatigue, brain fog, blood sugar issues, lethargy, difficulty thinking, difficulty processing and handling stress. Because whenever we're stressed, the adrenals release cortisol to help buffer and manage some of this stress. However, as they become depleted, they're not able to release as much cortisol. And so we begin experiencing fight or flight responses for smaller and smaller things. And not only are these for emotional triggers, but they're also for physical triggers. I've mentioned on a previous video talking about neurotoxic foods and anxiety. So if I'm eating foods that I'm allergic to, that's when the adrenal glands again are going to have to be activated. It's kind of like an EpiPen, the epinephrine in there. It's helping whenever someone has a anaphylactic shock or some sort of really severe food allergy. But you can think of your adrenal glands doing this for you on a daily basis all the time. If you eat something that's even a little bit irritating, it's going to pump out some of that. That's why oftentimes people are addicted to the foods that they're in fact allergic to, because they get some of that epinephrine. But it's actually depleting you, and it's borrowing energy from tomorrow. So whenever we're getting high off of the foods that we're eating because we're allergic to them, whenever we're drinking caffeine or using stimulants, it's a borrowing from tomorrow. And the adrenal glands are getting depleted, and they eventually are going to have to recover. And if we're really overriding these symptoms, eventually that day is going to come where it's just hard to get out of bed. And adrenal glands take a really long time to heal when you get to that state. It can take up to 3 years of really resting and doing every correct thing you need to help support the adrenal glands. This is a condition that is so common in the 21st century, just this constant rush that we're dealing with every day, and this constant to-do list and stress levels that they're just so high that the adrenal glands are really taking quite a beating. So this is extremely common. If you're noticing some of these symptoms and feeling a bit run down, there's some basic things that you can do to start addressing this. First is being aware of what you're feeling in your body. When you notice that your energy levels are depleted and they're dropping, take that moment to rest. Really try to give the body what it's asking for, instead of the mind overriding it and saying, oh, I can just push through a little bit more. Other things you can do regarding diet is to eat or drink something every 2 hours, because one of the functions of the adrenal glands is to maintain blood sugar. And if you go longer than 2 hours without eating or drinking something, the adrenal glands are going to have to function. They're going to have to come in to keep that blood sugar up, and then they get depleted over time. So if you're going long hours without eating, this is what's happening. It's actually not allowing the adrenal glands to rest. So when you eat or drink something every 2 hours, make sure that it's not high glycemic. It needs to be something that is stabilizing to the blood sugar. Fruit is okay, but when the adrenal glands are very depleted, even fruit can feel high glycemic, even though it has the pulp and everything. And so what you can do is pair that with something. So an apple with almond butter or sun butter, or you can have some sort of green juice, and the greens are going to help stabilize the sugar content in the juice. Other things to consider are your lifestyle. See if you're in some sort of job that's just not sustainable for you. See if there's anything that you can do within the lifestyle to give yourself a break. Or some people have to consider new careers altogether if their body is really saying no. So if the body has gotten to the point where it's served you the best it can, and we keep continuing to ask more and more of it beyond its capacity, you're going to notice these symptoms of it breaking down. So I encourage you to really evaluate all the ways that we can support the adrenal glands before you get to the point where it's hard to function. Another thing to do is emotional management, stress management, learning how to regulate our emotions. If we're having difficulty doing this, every time we have a rise in an emotion, and then maybe we add fuel to the fire, having thoughts that are feeding this emotion, it's going to continue to have this emotional reaction that's asking the adrenal glands for more and more fuel. And so we can get stuck in fight or flight responses in this way. So if we're not skilled at how to be with our emotions and we have a reaction to them, we can get stuck where it's just cycling like this, depleting our adrenals. So learning some of these self-regulation techniques as well. So I hope some of these tips were helpful for you. If you're having adrenal fatigue symptoms, I recommend seeing a functional medicine physician for testing and for follow-up. And there's a lot of really helpful resources out there, wonderful books on this topic. So I just realize it's a call for self-care. It's a call for, respecting the limitations of the body. I encourage you to take this opportunity to show yourself this self-love, and I wish you happy healing. May you be well.